One of the things that happens as we age is even though we're eating really healthy food, we have a loss of nutrient sensing. And I don't know about you, but how many of you tolerated eating out better when you were younger?
Like in high school, oh man, I could eat like a truck and come out looking squeaky clean with abs on the backside. And that absolutely does not happen anymore.
I hear it from patients all the time who are constantly craving sugar, but what these peptides do is they work on the pancreas so that it's a way of getting over that obsession with sugar.
I feel like in the health industry in general, there's just this idea that pushing more is always better. So like eating less, working out more, just like stressing yourself out is somehow better for your health. And I feel like that's something I fed into for a really long time because it's easy to just think like I'm not doing enough and that's why I'm not feeling good. But a lot of the times you're doing too much and that's why you're not feeling good.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Health Accelerator Challenges. This is your host, Cade Archibald, and I am stoked to be here with everyone. And I'm also joined by none other than Regan Archibald. Regan, how's it going?
Man, it's going so good. It's been a great day. And I just am coming off of a bit of a highlight of my speaking career because I was at the Abundance Amplifier, and we have a lot of people coming in today, so I'll give you guys a minute. But welcome everybody to the Health Accelerator Challenge. But yeah, one of the big highlights for me, Cade, was being in front of a large group and talking to them about peptides and what we do. And there's some really amazing individuals in the audience, and to see everybody rushed the table after my presentation. Dave Asprey, the bulletproof guy, spoke right after me, and they had to like delay the conference because everybody was out of their seat at our booth wanting to get their blood drawn. So it was
that is awesome.
It was a big highlight. Some redneck from Idaho could get that.
You got the crowd moving.
Yeah.
They're all ready to change their lives, change their health.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so our we had phlebotomists there. We're doing vitamin IVs. We teamed up with Advanced Longevity with Steve Marler's clinic. And so, people were getting all kinds of really amazing things. And the Abundance Amplifier, I would love to invite all of you to that next year when Alex and Jen have it. They're in the program here with us, and just really cool humans. But it's an event where, kind of art meets entrepreneurism, meets a little bit of Burning Man.
Love that.
Yeah.
Super cool event. And really exciting to hear the table rush and everything. We got lots of people knocking down the doors to change their health. So
yeah,
exciting.
Jenny, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a busy day. Time flies, but I'm doing well.
You had a jam-packed day. I saw your schedule too.
Yes.
Both of you guys were jamming hard today.
For sure.
Yeah, slave drivers around there at East West. Jeez. I can barely urinate some days. I'm like, hey, can we put in like just a little bathroom break for me?
Nope.
Cade's like, working. Jenny, you hung out with Ann today, is that right?
Yeah, she joined some of my calls and she's coming back and patients are excited.
Yeah.
I think Ann helped kick off the initial Health Accelerator challenges like 2 years ago. So some of you out there, if you remember Ann Marked, she is joining the team once again. Really exciting.
Yeah, we're excited to have her.
Yeah, we are very so. So let's jump in. Cade, we did the 9 hallmarks of aging. We got about halfway through my form last time. And we have a couple big announcements. Number one is we have 2 spots left for tomorrow's retreat. And I know some of you are registered, but we've got a really fun group tomorrow. But if you've never been to a retreat and you want to come check it out, you can come join us tomorrow. So just plug it in the chat box and we'd love to have you there. Our next retreat is almost full. It's May 25th. And then we've got another one coming up June 30th. So make sure you get scheduled for those. Those have been really fun. And then Go Wellness, we're going to have the Peptide Masterclass will be May 5th on Cinco de Mayo. And we're doing it with all of we're hosting a Go Wellness event at the same time. And so you guys are going to see, you'll get a little glimpse into what a Go Wellness event is like on that Peptide Masterclass May 5th, next Friday. So if you're not signed up for our Peptide Masterclass group and you want to go deeper and learn how your body functions from a peptide pathways perspective, learn more about ways you can reverse aging. We're hosting an age reversal innovation of medicine event May 5th and 6th. So come on over and jump on in the Zoom and join us. So I think that's all for announcements. Anything that I missed?
No, I think the only thing is our challenge last week was focusing on something you can do to protect your health. Setting up some safeguards there. And so, yeah, type into the chat box how your experience has been with that challenge, what maybe you put together. I know big one Jenny talked about last week, and this is one that I tried to implement, was sleep. So protecting my sleep, looking at it that way, as opposed to just saying, I got to get 8 hours of sleep. So I got to protect that sleep. I love that rephrasing.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Well, yeah, share with us in the chat box what you guys did. And one of the things I'm doing is I started the knees over toes protocol. So I signed up for their coaching. And so I'm actually protecting my knees and I'm going to be working on my vertical jump. So my goal it's not my birthday yet, but I do, weird things for 365 days. And this next 365 days, I'm actually going to work on my vertical jump and see if I can at least touch the rim and maybe even dunk a tennis ball. A tennis ball dunk is my goal.
Nice. I like that.
Kind of weird, but it's actually, and it's not just the dunking, but it's actually getting my ankles, my knees, my tibialis, all I'm going to start from the bottom up and just rehab my whole body.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you walking backwards up your stairs.
Oh yeah, that's part of my protocol. And so now I'm just going to get more intentional about it.
I like it.
Awesome. Well, keep us updated, Regan. We want to hear your progress.
Yep, you guys will. Unfortunately, you guys don't really have a choice on my weird experiments because I just share them freely. Cool. Well, let's jump back into this. I think it's a fascinating subject, the hallmarks of aging, and what we've done is we've changed the name to the Hallmarks of Age Reversal, and so this will go down in history as a proactive approach to aging, because if you think about what the 9 hallmarks of aging are, and many of you have heard us talking about those. So what we've done is we've flipped the script and we've said, well, instead of having a loss of nutrient sensing, we're going to have optimized nutrient sensing. And so last week we ended up on increased proteostasis. We talked about genomic stability, telomere lengthening, epigenetic restoration, increased proteostasis. And now we're going to jump into number 5. And this one is pretty interesting because one of the things that happens as we age is, even though we're eating really healthy food, we have a loss of nutrient sensing. And I don't know about you, but how many of you tolerated eating out better when you were younger? And even you, Jenny, even though Jenny just turned, she's barely an adult, but did you notice a difference now, like, versus 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how your body tolerates?
Oh yeah. Like I don't know. I think I'm used to feeling really good, and that's part of it. I think part of eating poor food is you just don't realize how crappy you feel. But we had like a community event and I was in charge of it, but I was outvoted and we got Little Caesars pizza. And Andrew and I were like sick for 2 days. Our guts hated us. It was miserable. So
Man.
Yeah.
How about you, Cade? Do you notice a little difference too?
Oh, absolutely. Like in high school, oh man, I could eat like a truck and come out looking squeaky clean with abs on the backside. And that absolutely does not happen anymore.
Yeah, Cade would. Well, you guys know he ate my dog food. I had to buy my dog's own dog food when I was a teenager. And Cade would eat it, and I'd get really frustrated with him. I'm like, hey, that was my hard-earned money, and don't eat my dog food. So, and he could, and he would be super energetic even on dog food, which is basically cardboard.
Hey, there's dense amount of protein in dog food. I don't know if you knew that, but
it's just making his protein goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a TikTok where a kid does that. I think Dom showed me that TikTok, where the kid was like, oh, like there's like 100 grams in like 1 cup of dog food. And so I'm going to eat it. And he like mixes it up a little bit, like kind of softens it. He takes like 2 bites and he cannot fit, like he's throwing up and just like, oh, but it's like this weightlift, like this pretty built like kid on TikTok trying to get everyone stoked that he's eating like 100 grams of protein in like 2 scoops.
Oh, yeah. The filler that they put in dog food is nasty. But anyway, so
not advising. That is not an effective way to get your protein goals for the day, guys.
Not at all. But what does happen is where we have to be more selective about the types of food we eat, and we got to be more and more strategic because our body's ability to sense nutrients declines as we age, and so we don't absorb the same amount of nutrients. And so this is where people, I talk to many of you and you say, oh, I only use vitamin D supplementation in the winter because in the summer I'm getting it from sun. Pretty much all of us need vitamin D all year round. It's just we don't absorb it well enough. And especially if you're over 40, your nutrient sensing goes down quite a bit. So this relates to energy and it relates to appetite. And this is where there's a saying that in the Omnivore's Dilemma he writes that we in America we're overfed and undernourished, and part of it is because we're essentially eating food like Little Caesar is no offense, Jenny, but it's probably just a little bit more nutrient dense than dog food, right? It's
I mean,
maybe less.
I don't know. I think the dog food is more nutrient dense, honestly.
The cardboard crust, they're probably somewhat similar.
But one of the things that we have now is we have these really amazing peptides like semaglutide, tirzepatide, liraglutide, and I hear it from patients all the time who are constantly craving sugar. The nutrient sensing just goes for sugar and fat, instant energy sources. But what these peptides do is they work on the pancreas so that it's a way of getting over that obsession with sugar. And if you do not have high blood sugar, I would not recommend taking these. And if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, these peptides can also cause a loss of muscle mass, which is why we stack them with BPC 157. The other thing you can do is if you feel like you have this loss of nutrient sensing, and for most of us, we want the wrong thing, then you can also use ipamorelin. And we use ipamorelin with like tesamorelin and CJC 1295 because what it does is it works on the ghrelin pathway, because if you remember when you're a kid, you're always hungry and you just eat. But what ipamorelin does is it works on the ghrelin pathway so that you're not hungry, even though you have the increase of growth hormone. So that's a little hack there. And then you can add in tesofensin and selenk. And what that does is helps with the serotonin and the neurotransmitters in your brain. And it does seem to calm down that raging appetite. I've had certain patients, I'll say, hey, when you go to the next party, because they want to get rid of alcohol, I'll say, just bring Selenk in your pocket and do a couple sprays before the party. And the craving for alcohol goes away really quick. You watch it come and then you watch it go. Just don't get caught up. If you don't give yourself about 2 minutes, then it's pretty easy to just go for it. But if you just give yourself a little bit of time, and the Selenk just, it shortens that time horizon that you need to have in order to get over the craving. As you're looking at optimal nutritional sensing, then we ask you this question that's very important: is what is your macro and micronutrient intake? So Jenny, can you break down the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the name, right? So macronutrients are nutrients that you need large amounts of, like 120 grams of protein a day is a lot. So those are going to be like your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And then your micronutrients are things that you need in minimal amounts, but are still very much needed. So that could be things like, fish oil, those are in micrograms, or things like that are needed each day, but in smaller amounts.
That's it. Yeah. So it's like, like your B vitamins, all your minerals, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, all those things. So I would encourage each one of you, when you look at the RDA on the back of a bottle, the RDA is ridiculous because all it's showing is like the minimum amount that you need in your body, unless you're going to get a disease pattern. So if you don't want a disease, then you got to get at least that minimum, scurvy, if you don't have enough vitamin C, for example. But we work on optimizing health. And so in order to optimize health, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of those nutrients in. And one of the big risks that you have, for those of you who are on some of these GLP-1 agonists like semaglutide or tirzepatide, is make sure that you're eating enough food, because I find you put yourself in a caloric deficit and then you start losing muscle mass and you can lose some health in the process. But if you can keep your nutrients high, you'll find that you'll just the weight will melt off, the fat will melt off, and you'll do great on it. So, all right, so let's go to number 6. Number 6 is mitochondrial dysfunction is one of the hallmarks of aging, but this is the hallmark of age reversal. So this is the mitochondrial recharge. And in the Accelerate Wellness program, the first 2 months are the reset. And that's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal reset. It's the getting rid of the stress in your body. It's also resetting the growth hormones. So we're putting your body into a state where it can now start to heal. The next phase is the recharge phase. And that's where we recharge the gut biome, the bacteria. And in doing so, that's what also allows you to recharge your mitochondria. And so there's different peptides you can use for this ATP powerhouse, which is your mitochondrial recharge. And these are the peptides MOTSc, 5-amino-1-MQ. They're really good at mimicking exercise and really good at helping your musculoskeletal system be more responsive. I'm doing 5-amino-1-MQ right now, and I love it because, once again, I'm working on my stability in my knees and my ankles, my whole structure. And 5-amino-1-MQ has really helped with that. It's also been shown that if you can add in a little bit of NAD, so for those of you who like some NAD, it's good to use NAD with MOTSc and 5-amino-1-MQ. Jenny, Cade, any thoughts on mitochondria?
No, I just think you're a wealth of knowledge.
Well, thank you.
I sit here and learn just alongside everybody else. So
Yeah.
It was speechless. Good.
I will second that as well. As mitochondria is awesome. I will keep it basic.
Beautiful. Well, so here's how you put it into day-to-day life, because that's really what this is about is what do we do? Well, think about your cardiovascular fitness. And if you have your labs in front of you, you can look at your CO2 levels. And the CO2 will show you the health, the general health of your mitochondria. Look at your VO2 max. These are all really important things, and your heart rate variability. But what are you doing to level up your cardiovascular fitness? So one of my year-long projects is 25 enjoyable miles every week. And that's been really good for my cardiovascular fitness, because I make sure that about half of those miles, I'm at least in zone 2 or zone 3. And now that I'm training for the Murphy, it's been in like zone 5. I mean, my heart rate's been up there in the, averaging for an hour about 160. So it's pretty high. But what are you doing for your cardiovascular fitness? Jenny, you're a cardiovascular, kind of a junkie. Yes, there we go. What are you doing right now for your cardiovascular fitness?
Yeah, well, I used to run 6 days a week, and I cut that back to 2 to 3. But I make them very intentional cardiovascular days. And then the other days I strength train. And so instead of just running to run, I'll go and do like a HIIT workout, or I'll train hills, or I'll go on a really long run with my running buddies. So I've changed it, but it's definitely more intentional than it used to be.
Got it. Okay. Well, and I think that's great. You got to change things up as you go. And the hill runnings, those are great. Anything you can do to just get the blood moving helps the mitochondria. And then if you want to activate it even more, come into the clinic and do the nano V, start breathing in that air. That gets rid of any of the misfolded proteins in your lungs. And then get on some light therapy. So jump under the red light, put it on certain parts of your body. Those are great ways for recharging your mitochondria. All right, let's go. Number 7 is cellular rejuvenation. Now we're going to get into the fun stuff. So this is what I call repaired and renewed. And this is all about recovery. So LL37, thymosin alpha 1, KPV, and BPC 157 are some of the best peptides to remove inflammation and repair cell damage. So if you think about what happens to our cells as they die, as they get damaged, if you're not rejuvenating your cells, then the cells go into senescence. And so this is the hallmark of aging, is called cellular senescence. But senescence is when our cells become zombie-like, and they send a signal to the other cells in your body that you are now deteriorating. And so it creates this whole cascade of metabolic events where your cells aren't as healthy as they could be. And so by practicing cellular rejuvenation, you can use these peptides to promote new blood vessels, to increase healthy cellular turnover, and to really help your body recover. And so I think we've talked about this, but I can't remember the exact saying. My wife taught me this, but she said your next workout is only as good as your last recovery, something like that. Your last workout's only as good as your recovery. She has a better way of saying it. Do you remember that saying, Jenny, at all?
Yeah, I think it was what you said the first time. Your next workout is only as good as your last recovery.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think that's what I've heard. So
yeah. So what are your favorite ways of recovering?
I feel like in the health industry in general, there's just this idea that pushing more is always better. So like eating less, working out more, just like stressing yourself out is somehow better for your health. And I feel like that's something I fed into for a really long time, because it's easy to just think like I'm not doing enough and that's why I'm not feeling good. But a lot of the times you're doing too much and that's why you're not feeling good. And I think that's been the case with a lot of our patients who have come in, like learning how to do breath work, for example, is really healing. Learning how to do some meditation work is really healing, and making sure that when they're pushing, they can actually push because they're taking the time to recover. So some ways, I mentioned it, breath work is a really great way to recover. Epsom salt baths, as far as like lifestyle things go. Maybe taking a day off and walking instead of doing something more high intense is a great way to recover. And then, we have a lot of biohacking tools at the clinic. Like I love our, I'm forgetting the name of the leg sleeves. What are they called?
Normatec.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, those are so good. That's a really good one to bring up on cellular rejuvenation. Even what we talk about, like cold exposure, saunas, so good for you. Or just take some time to go for a walk midday and breathe some fresh air. Yeah.
It's amazing how powerful just a walk outside can be. Like it just resets your whole day.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And now that after 6 months of no sun, we actually have sun in Utah. So
get outside.
Not you in St. George, Cade. Us up here in the northern regions, we literally have had avalanches and 900 inches of snow. We surpassed the 900-inch mark.
That is crazy. Yeah, you guys have been just getting hammered. We had a really long winter for St. George, but definitely nothing compared to up there.
I think you guys had like 2 gloomy days. We were feeling bad for you, kid.
I was feeling gloomy because of those gloomy days.
You guys, it was colder down there. All right, so let's we'll go on to cellular rejuvenation. So stem cell exhaustion is the 8th hallmark of aging. I reversed and I said, let's do stem cell activation. So you're always regenerating. And so, Cade, maybe you could give an overview what a stem cell is.
Yeah, so a stem cell is a single cell that does not have a specific function or lineage. And it can, depending on what signals are sent to it, it can regenerate, it can multiply itself. So it can be pluripotent. So one stem cell can multiply into multiple stem cells. It can also, based on signaling factors, can emulate or turn into a specific tissue structure or a tissue cell. So if there's like a lot of inflammation at a particular area, say a joint, and there's damage in, say, the cartilage, so you need chondrocytes. Those stem cells can actually turn into chondrocytes, and that's actually kind of our body's natural healing mechanism is stem cells. And so it's really cool when you can maximize and optimize those. There we go.
Nailed it. Holy cow. That was impressive. So yeah, and what we use is human umbilical cord tissue. And many of you have had these allograft therapies, and they've been so helpful in my own personal life. I find that, not only are there 261 naturally occurring peptides in every single vial, but you get all this activation and rejuvenation of your body's own cells. And if you add in some GHK copper, some sarcotropin IPA, or even thymosin beta 4, that's where you get the maximum upgrade in your stem cell reserves. So the worst time to do some stem cell activation and stem cell rejuvenation is when everything's broken. So the best time to do it is early on when the problem's just started. Get your most tired stem cells and wake them up. So that will help you live with unreasonable health for an increased amount of time. So the 9th one is enhanced cell signaling. And this one's interesting because if you think about what peptides do, one of the primary functions is they're turning on all the signaling pathways in your body that express health, and they turn off the signal for disease. Because our cells are continually listening. Our cells are this feedback system where they're sending a message and they're receiving a message. It's no different than us having a conversation right now. And that's how our biology functions. Our biology's got trillions of different communication lines going on at any single time. And when you start losing the signaling pathways, that's when things start to unravel. That's when the DNA starts to get loose, and that's when disease starts to show up. And so one of the things that we do in this enhanced cell signaling, or what I call it, is exchanging information, or it could be an exchanging intelligence, because the cells are just an expression of you. There's, and the healthier the cell expressions are, the healthier that your expression will be. So we use exosomes because exosomes come from the umbilical cord, MSCs, the medicinal signaling cells, or mesenchymal stem cells. And these are molecules that transport proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and they can turn up the volume on the cell signaling pathways so that everything you're utilizing works better. You can add in some IGF-1 or BPC-157, and these are great ways to enhance your cellular signaling. And then one of the most fascinating things that we've been using are the 12 bioregulator peptides. And we now have those kits in. So the bioregulators, we've heard a lot of great things and experienced those too, but all the bioregulators do is they enhance that cell signal in very specific tissue groups. So we have them for bioregulators for the eyes, for the brain, the blood vessels, the bone marrow. We have it for the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the lungs. So it's really fascinating because what Dr. Covinson has found in the research on the bioregulators is that you can actually start creating younger and younger organ systems in your body by using these. So
really cool.
Yeah. And then when you add in exosomes just enhance everything. And the big thing, the question that we ask here is, well, what part of your lifestyle is interfering with your health? Because tomorrow, many of you are doing some upgrades in your body at the retreat. And so we just want to make sure that there's no interferences. So things like alcohol. So tonight, do not drink alcohol. It is not going to help your stem cell reserves. Don't eat sugar. Make sure that you finish eating 3 hours before bed. Get a great night's sleep. Go to bed and think of what you're grateful for, and think of all the healing that's going to happen in your body tomorrow. And that just sets the intention with everything. So, all right. So I think we had a question that came in. You got that, Cade?
Let's see. Yeah. So do we do exosomes for brain stem cells?
Oh, to activate the brain. Yes. Yeah. So you can use it with a spinocath, and what it can do is, and actually they've done some interesting studies on it, but you can actually activate your brain's own neuronal cells with exosomes, because they're little tiny vesicles, so they can go deep into the brain tissue and access areas that have been damaged, and then start recruiting your body's own healing properties there. So yeah, it's a great way of rejuvenating the brain. It's one of the best things you can do.
Awesome. And so would you say, and just for me and the audience, so difference between, say, a stem cell or umbilical cord tissue treatment and exosomes is the exosomes are just the vesicles versus the stem cells are like the full spectrum. There's still exosomes in, like, say, an umbilical cord tissue, right? That's
right. Yep. And just think of exosomes as almost like messengers. It's almost like the UPS driver or the Amazon trucks that are dropping off the boxes. All exosomes are doing is dropping off the communication lines so that everything gets enhanced and the stem cells can go to work. Stem cells are bigger, and stem cells are constantly, they're just sending signals and listening to what your body needs. And then they're sending out exosomes to drop off what it needs. The stem cells are like the main computer where you're sending, we'll just use Amazon. You place the order through the stem cell, and the box that is delivered in, the truck is the exosome, and then the box is like the peptide or the messenger.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And I know you scientists out there are like, no, you missed this pathway. You're oversimplifying it. And yes, it's very simplified. It's far more complex than that. But for my small brain, that's as deep as we're going.
Well, and that's about the depth I can comprehend as well. So thank you for dumbing it down for me.
You can thank Jeff Bezos. Yeah. He invented that whole system that now we're all addicted to, instant gratification, click of a button. But and then not only that, but he's so smart that he'll say, Reagan, you like this book. I bet you would like this book too. And then, and I bet you're going to like this book. And I bet you're going to like this book. And I bet you're going to like this book. And so before you know it, you've got a pile of books on your desk that you just want to read, but you have to do this thing called work. And so, yeah.
Yeah, Amazon was built for your brain, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just perfect. It's like just click and it'll be there. And yeah, you got plenty of time to read all these books. Cool. All right. So our final thing is just fix what's broken. One of our core philosophies is no death by neglect. And so think about what areas in your body need attention. So we're going to be talking about this. We're going to take a deep dive tomorrow on your best health yet. And then we're going to chat about different areas of your body that could actually use some healing. And then we're going to talk about who can best support you in your health goals. And then we're going to give you some timelines. When will you accomplish it by? So for those of you who are listening to this after it's been recorded, I'm going to encourage you, your first step in fixing what's broken is reach out to us, come to one of our retreats and see if you don't actually just find some really interesting things out about your biology that you didn't realize was even there and possible. So that concludes our Hallmarks of Age Reversal. And I hope I didn't break any copyrights by using Hallmarks of Age Reversal from the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. So whoever invented that saying, I could find there's like 12 references. I do this with all due respect to where I got it from, which is the 9 Hallmarks of Aging. We just created the Hallmarks of Age Reversal. So
love it.
Cool.
All right. Well, everybody, you have an amazing day. We will see you same time, same place next week. And everyone have a great one. Thanks, Reagan. Awesome, amazing content as usual. Thanks for joining us, Jenny. See you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.